Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to rebuild your power steering control valve. Let's go ahead and take that tire off and then take the control valve. Wow, I just forgot that. Control valve off and rebuild it. I'm not going to do a walkthrough on that because CJ Pony has a really good in-depth video on how to do it. I will just kind of time lapse it on over to it being done, but I will show you anything that is different than what they did or problems I had, because this is a garage and nothing goes according to plan. So let's go ahead and jump in. So here's an update on the progress. So as you can see from the owner's manual, the valve sleeve should thread off. Well, the owner's manual is wrong. CJ Pony is wrong, because their video advertises 65 through 68, 70, whatever. But if you have a 65 through 66, somewhere in 66, they probably changed it. But the valve sleeve does not screw off. So it's gonna be hard to see down here. But right here is where you should see threads. And there are no threads. So this, from right here where the actual valve bolts on to this rod that goes all the way across that has your slave cylinder on it, it stays in the car. I mean, you can take it out if you wanted. I am not. I'm gonna unbolt the valve, take it off, clean it all up, rebuild it, and while it's off, I will bring y'all back to show you how I rebuild the inside of this. That will be an adventure. So let's go ahead and get this valve off now. So now that I got that all off, now we have to try and get this off, along with right here these threads that you can see that's sticking out. Is that part right there. So that whole part comes out of the assembly and you replace, as you can see, everything in there. So in the Scott or CJ Pony video, they can pull it out, punch it out. I do not have that luxury because it's a one solid bar. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and beat this back in to pull the rod out, and then hopefully it'll just slide right out. So let's go ahead and try to do that. We got it out. It was a giant pain. Essentially what had to happen was, got a lot of punches, punched it from the gap here, and then once it came far enough to put this back on, to thread that on, then we just pried it out with that. And then once this hole was far enough showing, we pried it out the rest of the way with that and pulled it out. That was not a fun job. If you're doing this, it's gonna suck. Also, make sure you have a pickle fork. This was extremely helpful. Not for this part, but another part. But yeah, hopefully you have the type that unscrews itself. But if you don't, this is gonna be a fun experience, and you'll probably have a discussion with your car about it as well. So let's go ahead and start installing the new parts. And when you install the new parts, make sure to lube them up beforehand with some ATF. If you're going with the original power steering, if you're going with new power steering, go ahead and put power steering fluid in it, or lube it with power steering fluid. Because these old ones use ATF, go ahead and lube everything with ATF. So let's go ahead and start that process. So I went ahead, rebuilt the valve portion of the control valve All of these has new seals already. Went ahead and just primed it black, so it kind of helps it from rusting. Now we need to get this ball control sleeve into here. Yep, the lighting is awful. Into here. And it does not want to go in because, kind of like the old one, didn't want to come out. There's small ridges in there, so you have to get this far enough in to be able to drop the new ball valve in, and then you got to pull it back out. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to take some punches, put this in there, hit this top part with punches to shove it back far enough, drop the ball in, then take punches and try to punch it back out, and then hopefully that'll work. So let's go ahead and start that time-consuming and frustrating process. So let's jump in. Now that we got the ball stud in, we can go ahead and attempt to tap that back out. I got a feeling this is not going to go very well. And yeah, so let's actually just skip over my struggle of getting this back in, and once I get it shoved back, I'll let you know how I did it. As you can see, ball stud is in, and we have been able to pull it back out. So all I did, had a punch. When it was shoved back in there, put the punch in there, like so. Got it on the front lip here, and just hammered it back out. Screwed this on and pulled it all the way back out. So we're ready to rock and roll. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it'd be. So if you have a valve sleeve that doesn't unscrew, that's going to be your easiest way to get it in and out, is have punches, punch it in, get the ball in, and then punch it back out. So hopefully that'll save you a lot of time and headache. So now that we have the whole valve assembly put back together, you can go ahead and put your hoses back on. Now make sure that they go in the correct spot, because if you don't put them in the right spot, it's not going to work and you might screw something up. So hopefully you took a picture before you did it, like I did, that I'm going to have to go look at now again. But both of these are different sizes, so that should help. They go up yonder here, and then the return valves go, or return hoses go on the bottom. So actually no, I take that back. These go over here, and I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at it. So now you can put your hoses back on. I went ahead, put all the hoses back to the valve, connected the pitman arm, and then don't forget down here on the bottom, you've got a Zerk fitting. There it is. Don't forget to put grease in there. Now that we have that all done, let's go ahead and put the tire back on the car, and then watch it leak fluid probably. So now that we have the power steering valve put all back together with the hoses all connected back up, let's go ahead and put fluid in the reservoir and see if it leaks and see if I fix the problem. If not, looks like we'll be building it again or buying a new one. So it's been a few days since I put the ATF in the power steering pump, and unfortunately, as you can probably see, there is ATF on the bottom of that power steering valve. So, unfortunately, that means I have to tear that back apart and see what the problem is and why it's not sealing. So, that means that wheel has to come back off. I'm not going to drag you through this whole process again, so let's just jump to where I figured out what the problem is, which could be today, tomorrow, or in a month. Hopefully not that long though. So let's jump to see what the problem is. So as you can see, got the wheel off. Went ahead and took a look. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this very well, but there's ATF on top of the valve, and as you can see, it looks like it is leaking from this top fitting up here. So that could be good news. Hopefully that's where the leak's coming from, so I don't have to tear that whole valve apart. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten that up and then put more fluid in the power steering pump and see if that's fixed our problem. As you can see, the power steering control valve no longer leaks. I simply forgot to tighten one of the fittings on the top. That's why it was leaking before. So that was a quick, easy fix. And that's how you rebuild the power steering control valve. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it helped you show some of the problems of what you might encounter and hopefully how to solve some of them. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys here next time. Have a good one.